Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm making no churn sweet corn ice cream. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I've partnered with Logan Family Farms from Irwin, Pennsylvania in the past to feature their incredible dry-aged beef and their Berkshire pork sausage. But I have been waiting for this time of year, like late summer, end of July, early August, because Logan Family Farms is also very well known for their sweet corn. Well, this is in the husk. I'll show you their sweet corn. But my friend, Tom, the owner, gave me 16 ears of corn. We've been eating them nonstop and it is absolutely phenomenal. We haven't had one bad ear in the batch. It is so sweet and tender and each kernel just kind of pops in your mouth. Nothing is chewy. It is awesome. If you live in the Pittsburgh area, you can travel to Irwin, Pennsylvania to their marketplace on the Logan Family Farms property. And they sell all their meats there, plus this time of year they're selling their ears of sweet corn. And I highly, highly recommend it. My kids have helped me husk all the ears of corn. I've been boiling them as a side dish to dinner almost every night this week. I just put them in a shallow pan of water and then cover them almost completely, but not quite, and just boil them for about 3 to 4 minutes. They're super juicy and tender and perfectly cooked, and we slather them with butter and sprinkle them with a little bit of salt. They have been so delicious. But today I'm gonna try something totally different. I am making a no churn sweet corn ice cream. So I consulted several recipes online, and today I'm trying one from Food Network magazine. Basically, a no churn ice cream is a combination of whipped cream. So you take heavy whipping cream and then you whip it till there's, soft peaks, and then you fold that into sweetened condensed milk. And then you pop it in the freezer and it solidifies into basically an ice cream-like texture. Last fall, I made a pumpkin spice version of no churn ice cream, which is a video that I'll link down below for you. But for this time of year, I thought sweet corn would be a little bit unique, but absolutely perfect. I have a quick tip for you today. If you're wondering how do you pick the perfect ear of corn, what I like to do is pick it up and see how heavy it feels. I'll pick up several ears of corn and just kind of compare the weight, and the ones that feel the heaviest are the ones that I always choose. These days, the grocery store will have a garbage can right next to the display of fresh ears of corn, so you can actually peel the husks back and examine the ears of corn to make sure that you're buying good ears. But when I'm shopping with 4 kids, I don't have time to do that. So my best trick is to just pick the heaviest ears of corn, and it's never done me wrong. Last fall, I filmed a video for chicken corn soup, and I tried this hack where you stick an ear of corn right into a bundt pan, and that's supposed to help you cut the kernels off the cob easily. And it totally worked. So I'm gonna do that again today. I have a large serrated knife here, and I'm just gonna cut the kernels right into the bundt pan, so they're not gonna go flying all over my kitchen. This recipe calls for 3 ears of corn, so I'm just gonna finish cutting the kernels off of the 3rd ear. After we cut all the corn off the cobs, next we have to infuse that corn flavor into our heavy cream. So I have a medium-sized saucepan here, and I'm gonna add all of the kernels of corn plus the cobs into the saucepan, and then top it off with 2 cups of heavy cream. I have my saucepan over about medium heat, and I'm bringing my cream to a simmer. Then I'm going to reduce the heat to low and allow it to simmer so that that corn flavor infuses into our cream for about 15 minutes. The cream and corn simmered for about 15 minutes, so I just turned off the heat and I'm going to remove the saucepan from the warm burner to allow the mixture to cool. What I'm going to do next is pull the cobs out and then use my immersion blender, or you could just use a regular blender, to puree this mixture as smooth as possible. And then we're going to strain it and pop it in the fridge for a couple hours so that it cools down completely, and then we'll whip that flavored cream into our whipped cream and mix it in with our sweetened condensed milk. Now, I wanted to let you know that I did grab a little taste of this corn-infused cream mixture, and it is incredible. It tastes exactly like sweet corn. And then of course we'll sweeten it up later to make it more like a dessert. It's gonna be so, so good. So I removed the corn cobs from my cream mixture, and I tried to puree it using my immersion blender, but the amount of liquid that was in the pan wasn't deep enough, so it was just splattering everywhere. So we're on to plan B. Option 2 is my blender. Now, Andrew is not going to actually help me do this. He just needed to be held for a minute, but he is demonstrating what we need to do. We have to unscrew this little middle part of our blender and pop it out. If you're ever blending a really hot liquid, you want to allow the steam to escape through the top. Once I add my hot cream into the container of my blender, I'll pop the lid on top and then hold a dish towel loosely over top just so nothing splatters out at me, but that way there'll be a little bit of ventilation so the steam can escape. My cream mixture has been chilling for a couple of hours, so now is kind of the moment of truth with this recipe. From what I was reading in the notes from Food Network magazine, it said that because we infused the cream with the corn kernels, it might not whip to stiff peaks, but it should definitely come to soft peaks, which means we'll incorporate a lot of air, make it nice and fluffy, and then we'll fold it into our sweetened condensed milk. Another note I wanted to make about this recipe, since this is actually the first time I'm trying it out, is that I don't know if it's 100% necessary to actually go in and blend up the corn into the cream and then strain it. I definitely think I'm getting the most bang for my buck flavor-wise, but if you want to just strain out the corn when the kernels are whole, I think it would be faster and easier of a process, and you would still have a fairly pronounced corn flavor. So in goes my cream. Nice and thick. And I'm just noticing too, it kind of formed a little bit of a skin on the top. If you ever want to prevent that, you can just put a little piece of saran wrap on top. I didn't think to do that, but I'm sure it'll blend out once I turn my hand mixer on. Okay, so we're going in. Start slow. Oh, and of course, classic Anne, I strained my mixture into a very small bowl that almost didn't fit the amount of cream that I had, and I needed to transfer it into a larger bowl anyway to whip it. So when you're straining, just put it into a big old glass bowl. Then you won't dirty two bowls. So that didn't work at all. I would probably suggest not pureeing your corn at all into the heavy cream mixture. I would just strain it out when the kernels are whole. I can't guarantee it, but I have a hunch that the cream would whip a lot more easily that way. This was after several minutes of beating the whipped cream, and it thickened ever so slightly, but like not even to soft peaks as they described in the recipe. So I'm kind of troubleshooting here. Luckily, I bought a larger container of heavy cream. So what I did was I added another half a cup just into a smaller bowl, and I whipped it to really stiff peaks, because you want that light and fluffy whipped cream to give you that nice ice cream-like texture when it's all said and done. So I'm going to fold in some vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and my sweetened condensed milk into the cream and corn mixture over here that's still very liquidy. And then I'll carefully add in the whipped cream. Just give it a couple of stirs because I don't want to deflate that at all. So let's add our extra ingredients. First is our sweetened condensed milk, which is so good. And super duper sweet. Like, you don't need to sweeten up the whipped cream or the heavy cream and corn mixture. This will add all the sweetness that you need. And don't think that I'm throwing this away like this. My husband and I will lick every last corner of this can. It's so tasty. Then just a splash of vanilla, maybe like half a teaspoon, and just the tiniest pinch of salt. And then I'm using a rubber spatula to incorporate that all together. Smells so good. It smells like fresh corn in here. So since this isn't whipped cream, I can stir this pretty vigorously, I would say, just to incorporate it really well. And then I'll try to be extra gentle when I incorporate the whipped cream. So now, fingers crossed, we're adding this extra whipped cream, hopefully to thicken this up a little bit. This ice cream mixture is going to freeze in a 9x5 loaf pan. So I'll just pour my mixture in, cover it directly on the surface with a little bit of plastic wrap, and then pop it in the freezer for a few hours, and we'll see how it works. Well, it's several hours later and my ice cream froze to a solid consistency. It totally worked out in the end, which I'm very thankful for. So now I'm gonna give it a taste. And actually a smell first too. Oh yeah, it totally smells like fresh corn. This is so cool. Wow. That is really, really good. It tastes like really sweet corn on the cob. It's incredible. I mean, it definitely has a dessert flavor to it. That sweetened condensed milk will really sweeten it up for you, which I love, of course. But it tastes like a fresh ear of corn. It is such an awesome flavor. Wow, I'm so glad I tried this out. You know, I didn't have time today, but I was trying to think of some sort of fruity sauce that might pair well with this. I'm gonna link my Bonuts video below because in that video, I showed you how I made a blueberry compote, and I think that would pair so well with this ice cream. I think fresh raspberries or blueberries, something a little bit sweet and tart would pair perfectly with this ice cream. Or you could go a totally different direction and pair it with like a caramel sauce, even a salted caramel sauce. Or if you really wanna get adventurous, my husband had the idea that you could pair this with some sort of bacon element. I don't know, maybe some candied bacon sprinkled on top. That sounds really good to me right now, actually. We might have to try that out sometime soon. You can experiment at home and leave me a comment down below if you try out this ice cream and any of the flavor combinations that I suggest. If you're in the Pittsburgh area, make sure you visit Logan Family Farms for your sweet corn fix. It is so, so delicious. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Ann's Family Recipe. Thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe.